know what is the agriculture production economics. It is the sub-discipline with broad subject of agriculture economics. Agriculture economics का ये बहुत ही बड़ा सब-discipline है. It is defined as applied field of science wherein principle of economic choices are applied to the uses of resources of land, labor, capital and management in farming industry. So ये अप्लाइड फील्ड ऑफ साइंस है जहाँ पे प्रिंसिपल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स, जो हम चॉइस मेकिंग में इकोनॉमिक्स प्रिंसिपल यूज करते हैं, वो सारे जो प्रिंसिपल्स है वो रिसोर्सेस यूटिलाइज करने, जो कौन से रिसोर्सेस, लैंड, लेबर, कैपिटल एंड मैनेजमेंट, ये सारे रिसोर्सेस फार्मिंग में कैसे यूज किए जाए, इसके लिए इकोनॉमिक्स प्रिंसिपल को अप्लाई करते हैं. दैट इज द एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स. Then goals of agriculture production economics. First is assist farm manager in determining the best use of resources given the changing needs, values and goals of the society. जो भी changing needs, values और goals है society के, उसके आधारित पे optimum resource use कैसे करें, ये assist करने का goal पहला है production economics का. Second, assist the policy makers in determining the consequences of alternative public policies on output, profits and resource use on the farm. जो भी गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज बनाने वाली है या इम्प्लीमेंट करने वाली है, which are based on the agriculture output, profit और the agricultural inputs, उसके consequences क्या हो सकते हैं, इसके बारे में वो पॉलिसी मेकर्स को असिस्ट करते हैं. Then evaluate the uses of theory of firm for improving the farm management and understanding the behavior of farm as profit maximum entity. जो भी theory of firms है वो सारे इंडिविजुअल फार्मिंग पे अप्लाई करके उनका कैसा बिहेवियर होगा वो इवेल्युएट करना, ये तीसरा गोल है प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स का. फोर्थ गोल, इवेल्युएट द इफेक्ट्स ऑफ टेक्निकल एंड इंस्टीट्यूशनल चेंजेस ऑन एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन एंड रिसोर्स यूज. जो भी टेक्निकल एंड इंस्टीट्यूशनल चेंजेस होते हैं नेशन में, उसका एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन एंड जो भी रिसोर्सेस यूज कर रहे हैं उस पर क्या इफेक्ट होता है, उसका इवेल्युएशन करना. एंड फिफ्थ इज डिटरमाइन द इंडिविजुअल फार्म एंड एग्रीगेटेड रीजनल फार्म एडजस्टमेंट इन आउटपुट, सप्लाई एंड रिसोर्स यूज टू द चेंजेस इन इकोनॉमिक वेरिएबल्स इन द इकोनॉमी. इकोनॉमिक वेरिएबल्स इन होल इकोनॉमी की वजह से इंडिविजुअल फार्म और एग्रीगेट, एक रीजन के एग्रीगेट फार्म में क्या फर्क एडजस्टमेंट हुआ है, सप्लाई ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस या यूज ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर इनपुट्स कैसे चेंज हुआ है, ये डिटरमाइन करना, ये एक गोल होता है प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स का. नेक्स्ट, ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स. फर्स्ट, टू डिटरमाइन एंड आउटलाइन द कंडीशंस that give the optimum use of capital, labor, land and management resources in production of crops, livestock and allied enterprises. जो भी एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन है, चाहे वो क्रॉप्स हो, लाइवस्टॉक हो या अलाइड एग्रीकल्चर एक्टिविटीज हो, उनमें ऑप्टिमम इनपुट यूटिलाइजेशन, जो भी आउटलाइन कंडीशंस है कि हम इनपुट्स ऑप्टिमम कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, तो वो डिटरमाइन करना उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव रहता है. फर्स्ट, सेकेंड ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू डिटरमाइन द एक्सटेंट टू विच existing use of resources deviate from the optimum use. जो भी फार्मर्स हैं फिलहाल जो रिसोर्स यूज कर रहे हैं और ऑप्टिमम यूज कितना करना चाहिए रिसोर्सेज में, उसमें कितना गैप है, ये डिटरमाइन करना, ये सेकेंड ऑब्जेक्टिव है. Then to analyze the forces which condition the existing production pattern and resource use. जो अभी एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोडक्शन पैटर्न है फार्मर का, ये रिसोर्स यूज कैसे कर रहे हैं, उसके लिए रीजंस क्या है, क्या फोर्सेस है उनपे ऊपर जो ये रिसोर्सेस इस पैटर्न में यूज कर रहे हैं या प्रोडक्शन पैटर्न ऐसे फॉलो कर रहे हैं, ये एनालाइज करना. फोर्थ, टू एक्सप्लेन द मीन्स एंड मेथड्स इन गेटिंग फ्रॉम एग्जिस्टिंग यूज टू ऑप्टिमम यूज ऑफ रिसोर्सेज. जो कैसे मेथड्स हम अप्लाई कर सकते हैं जिससे एग्जिस्टिंग जो भी रिसोर्सेज फार्मर्स यूज कर रहे हैं उससे वो ऑप्टिमम यूज पे आ जाए, तो उसके मीन्स एंड मेथड्स को डेवलप करना है, एक्सप्लेन करना है, ये फोर्थ ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स. देन नेक्स्ट इज द सब्जेक्ट मैटर ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स. Now production economics is concerned with the productivity, that is use and income from productive inputs. हम inputs का use कैसे करेंगे और इससे हमें income कैसा मिलेगा, that is the main concern of प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स. नाउ एज स्टडी ऑफ रिसोर्स प्रोडक्टिविटी इट डील्स विथ, हम यहाँ इनपुट की प्रोडक्टिविटी के बारे में बात करते हैं. सो इसमें इनपुट प्रोडक्टिविटी की जब बात करते हैं तो उसके साथ साथ क्या आ जाएगा, रिसोर्स यूज एफिशिएंसी. रिसोर्स यूज एफिशिएंसी मतलब जो भी इनपुट्स है वो कितने बेहतरीन तरीके से यूज किया है. देन व्हाट आर द कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ रिसोर्स कॉम्बिनेशन, resource allocation, resource management and resource administration. These are the important points which comes under the resource productivity. To study resource productivity, we have to know these points. Now, the subject matter of production economics includes such topics as methods और techniques of production. इसमें हम subject matter में क्या क्या आएगा, methods और techniques of production, then combination of enterprise, कौन से crops ले रहे हैं, कौन से type of farming follow कर रहे हैं, size of the farm, return to scale, leasing, production possibilities, farming efficiency, soil conservation, use of credit and capital, risk and uncertainty which affect the decision making of the farmer. So जो सारे production में decisions लेते हैं, right from the input utilization till the risk management, uncertainty management, marketing, वो सारे decisions जो होते हैं वो subject matter of production economics. Any agriculture problem that falls under the scope of resource allocation and marginal productivity analysis is the subject matter of प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स. जो भी रिसोर्स एलोकेशन और प्रोडक्टिविटी एनालिसिस में जो सारे प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं वो सारे सब्जेक्ट मैटर ऑफ प्रोडक्शन इकोनॉमिक्स में इंक्लूड होते हैं. बेसिक प्रोडक्शन प्रॉब्लम्स. Now production economics it will deal with the basic production problem. First problem is what to produce. This problem involves selecting of combination of crops and livestock enterprises to be produced. The farmers must select the among many alternatives that combination which will maximize his profits. जो भी what to produce में क्या होता है, farmers जो भी crop and livestock enterprise है उसका combination डिसाइड करता है और ऐसा कॉम्बिनेशन सेलेक्ट करता है जिससे उसका प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइज होता है. हाउ टू प्रोड्यूस मतलब एक बार ये डिसाइड हुआ कि क्या कौन सा क्रॉप या कौन से एंटरप्राइज उसे स्टार्ट करनी है, तो हाउ टू प्रोड्यूस में क्या आ जाएगा, रिसोर्सेज जो हमारे फार्मर के पास है वह कैसे यूज किया जाए. ना मेनी एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोडक्ट्स कैन बी प्रोड्यूस्ड इन नंबर ऑफ वेज. Crops can be produced with more capital, less labor. That is, either we can use capital intensive technology or labor intensive technology. Now the farmer or the manager, he has to select the appropriate combination of inputs which will minimize the cost of producing at the given producing a given quantity of some commodity or some crop. जो भी combination of inputs हमें कैसे लेने हैं ये क्वेश्चन आता है how to produce में. How much to produce मतलब the level of production and profit वो decide करना. Now level of production and profit will be determined by the input level selected. So manager is faced with the problem of how much fertilizer, how irrigation, how much seed rate, feeding values, labor and machineries. So what are the quantity of inputs we have to use to produce the given level of output, that is how much to produce. Then when to buy and sell. Once the production is finished, now after harvesting, where the farmer has to sell. Depending upon the variations in prices and market factors, farmers will decide when to buy and sell. Buy inputs and sell the output. Where to buy and sell. In which market to purchase the inputs. In which market to sell the produce. Depending upon the market conditions, they will decide where to buy and sell. Then there are some basic concepts which we need to understand before studying the agriculture production economics. First is production. Production is process through which some goods and services that are inputs are transformed into other goods which are called as product of outputs. The process by which inputs are transformed into output, it is called as production. Next we have production function. Production function is systematic and mathematical expression of relationship among various quantities of inputs and input services used in the production of commodity and corresponding quantities of output is called as production function. जो भी input and output में जो relationship है वो एक mathematical format में अगर represent करेंगे तो उसे हम production function कहते हैं. Now there are two types of production function. कंटिन्यूअस प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन एंड डिसकंटिन्यूअस। कंटिन्यूअस प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन मतलब जो भी इनपुट्स वहां हमने लिए हुए हैं वो परफेक्टली डिविजिबल है, तो उसे हम कंटिन्यूअस प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन कहते हैं। क्या दे आर कंटिन्यूअस इन नेचर, कंटिन्यूअस वेरिएबल। फॉर एग्जांपल seeds, fertilizers, which we can express it in the decimal form. These are the continuous variable. They don't take only the whole numbers, but they take the values between the two whole numbers. When such variables are included, it is known as continuous production function. Discontinuous और discrete production function मतलब जहाँ पे inputs जो होते हैं we cannot divide it into smaller units. They take only the whole numbers. They won't take the decimals. For example, number of flowings, number of feedings. यहाँ हमने ये नहीं कह सकते कि हमने 1.5 flowings लिए थे. We say only one flowing was done, otherwise 2 times flowing was done. So it is expressed in the whole numbers. So such when inputs are expressed in whole numbers, it is called as discontinuous or discrete production function. Then based on the time period, we have short-run production function, short-run production period or long-run production period. Now in short-run production period, there are one or more than one resources are fixed and other are variable. The output can be varied only by intensive use of fixed resources. This is called as short run. Short run में अगर एक या एक से ज्यादा रिसोर्सेज हम फिक्स्ड रख सकते हैं तो उसे हम शॉर्ट रन प्रोडक्शन पीरियड कहते हैं. And this can be expressed as y. Y is nothing but our output. It is function of x1, x2, bar x3 up to xn. Now this bar will differentiate between the fixed inputs and variable inputs. Now which are on the left hand side, these are the variable inputs, and which are on the right hand side of the bar, this is the fixed inputs. So this is the short run production period in which one or more resources can be fixed while others are variable. In long run production period, it is a planning period during which all the resources are weighted. यहाँ पे कोई variable fix नहीं होता, तो यहाँ पे कोई we cannot separate. There is no need of bar in this long run production process. Output is a function of all the inputs. Now technical coefficient. Technical coefficient is amount of input per unit of output. जो भी input है per unit of output. This is the technical coefficient. Now resources मतलब जो भी हम production process में use करते हैं उसे हम resources कहते हैं. जो physically enter करते हैं production process में. Example, land, seeds, fertilizer. These are the resources. And resources services are the work done by the person, machine or livestock. These resource services are those, they do not enter in the production process physically. For example, work done by the labor. Labor he is not used in the physically, he is not used in the production process, but his services is used. Then the inputs are classified as fixed inputs or fixed resources and variable resources. Fixed resources are one which remain unchanged irrespective of level of production. Production जितना भी हो लेकिन वो fixed रहते हैं. They remain unchanged irrespective of production. For example, land, building, machineries ये change नहीं होते. वो जितनी quantity है उतनी ही रहेगी. वो production के साथ change नहीं होते. These exist only in the short run, and the cost associated with the fixed resources is called as fixed cost. The variable cost, these vary with the level of production. These exist both in short run and long run. ये जितना production vary होगा उसके साथ ये inputs भी vary होंगे. For example, seed rate बढ़ेगा तो हमारा production बढ़ेगा. Fertilizers, chemicals, these are the example of variable inputs or variable resources. The cost associated with these resources are known as variable cost. Next we have two types again. We have flow resources and stock resources. Flow resources मतलब inputs that cannot be stored and it should be used when and when these are available. जब भी वो available है वो use करके लेने चाहिए, वो store नहीं कर सकते. For example, laborers, services of the laborers cannot be stored. आज है तो आज ही उसका यूटिलाइज करेंगे, आज अगर यूटिलाइज नहीं किया तो वो आज के लिए वेस्टेज हो जाए. Stock resources, these are the resources that can be stored for the future period. For example, seed, fertilizers, they can be stored for some future period. If not used today, they can be used tomorrow. So defining an input as flow or stock depends on the length of time under consideration. Flow resources अगर शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन में है तो वो स्टॉक रिसोर्सेज भी हो सकते हैं, और स्टॉक रिसोर्सेज अगर हम बहुत सारे टाइम में तो वो फ्लो रिसोर्सेज. फॉर एग्जांपल, ट्रैक्टर विद 10 years लाइफ स्पैन, इट इज द स्टॉक रिसोर्स. If we take the services to our tractor an entire useful life 10 years, but also provide services every day, therefore it is the flow resource. जो टाइम स्पेन हमने कम लिया तो वो फ्लो रिसोर्स बन जाएगा. अगर टाइम स्पेन बहुत बड़ा लिया वो स्टॉक रिसोर्स बनेगा. Now production period, it is time required for transformation of resources into फाइनल प्रोडक्ट, दैट इज द प्रोडक्शन पीरियड. जो भी इनपुट है वो आउटपुट में कन्वर्ट होने के लिए कितना टाइम लेगा उसे हम प्रोडक्शन पीरियड कहते हैं. देन फार्म एंटरप्रेन्योर. फार्म एंटरप्रेन्योर इज वन हु ऑर्गेनाइजेस एंड ऑपरेट्स द फार्म बिजनेस and he is responsible for the outcome of the business. As farm business manager, he is the person who is appointed by the farm entrepreneur to manage and supervise the farm business, and he is paid for his services. Then next is the productivity. Output per unit of input. Output per unit of input, it is called as productivity. Whereas input per unit of output, it is called as technical coefficient. So this is the difference between productivity and technical coefficient. Now technical efficiency, there are three types of efficiency: technical, economic and allocative. Technical efficiency, it is ratio of physical output to inputs. It implies using of resources effectively as possible without any wastage. ये ratio क्या है? Total output to total input in base of quantity, then it is called as technical efficiency. If same ratio we express in the monetary terms, in terms of rupees, then it will become the economic efficiency. जब हम टेक्निकल एफिशिएंसी को मनी टर्म में एक्सप्रेस करते हैं तो वो इकोनॉमिक एफिशिएंसी है. इट इज रेशियो ऑफ वैल्यू ऑफ आउटपुट टू वैल्यू ऑफ इनपुट. इट इंप्लाइज मैक्सिमाइजेशन ऑफ प्रॉफिट्स पर यूनिट ऑफ इनपुट. नेक्स्ट इज allocative efficiency. Allocative efficiency matlab it occurs when no possible reorganization of resources can make any combination higher yielding. जो भी आप रिसोर्सेज का कॉम्बिनेशन आपने सिलेक्ट किया है वो एलोकेटिव है. हम ऐसे कब कह सकते हैं? जब अगर हमने फिर से रिसोर्सेज रीऑर्गेनाइज किए तो ऐसा कोई कॉम्बिनेशन नहीं है जिससे हम उससे भी पहले जो हमने कंबाइन किया उससे हाई यील्डिंग हम कॉम्बिनेशन बना सके. This is the allocative efficiency. It occurs when no possible reorganization of resources can make any combination which is high yielding without making other combination less yielding. It refers to resource use efficiency. Next is optimality. Optimality matlab ideal condition or situation in which either cost are minimum or profit or maximum or both exist. If both cost is minimum and also profit is maximum. Then we have two concepts: cost of cultivation and cost of production. When expenditure incurred on all inputs is expressed in unit area or unit area, then it is called as cost of cultivation. It is expressed as rupees per hectare or rupees per acre. Then it is cost of cultivation. Per unit of area, what is the cost of production? That is the cost of cultivation. And cost of production expressed in per unit quantity of output, it is known as cost of production. Example, rupees per kg or rupees per क्विंटल. एक यूनिट क्वांटिटी का आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए कितना एक्सपेंडिचर है उसे हम कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन कहते हैं. नेक्स्ट वी हैव द इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल. इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल मतलब जिसकी वैल्यू कोई दूसरे वेरिएबल पे डिपेंड नहीं होती. इट इज नॉट इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय द डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल. इट इज टर्म्ड एज इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल. फॉर एग्जांपल, लैंड, लेबर, कैपिटल. Dependent variable means variable whose value depend on the other variables. For example, total output of the crop. It is dependent on the level of input. So inputs are the independent variable and total output is the dependent variable. Then we have slope of a line. It represents the rate of change in one variable that occurs when other variable changes. The slope of a line, it defines the change in one variable. It is rate of change in one variable that occurs when other variable changes. The slope varies at different points on the curve. अगर हमने ये ग्राफ लिया और एक कर्व लिया तो हर एक पॉइंट पे स्लोप अलग रहेगा, लेकिन अगर हमने स्ट्रेट लाइन कंसीडर की तो स्लोप रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट ओवर द स्ट्रेट लाइन. Now to calculate the slope, it is rate of change of variable on vertical axis, that is y, to rate of change on horizontal axis, that is x. So we can give it as delta y by delta x. This will give the slope of any curve or line. The total physical product, it is the total amount of output obtained by using different units of input. It is measured in physical units, that is kg turns. So it is known as total physical product. Then average physical product, when total output is divided by total input, then it is the average physical product, that is output per unit of input. Marginal physical product, it is addition to total output obtained by using one more unit of input, that is the marginal physical product. Or we can say that it is change in total output due to increase in one unit of input, that is given by delta y by delta x. So these are the basic terms used in the production economics. So next we'll see what is production function. Production functions, it gives the portrays or it explains the relationship between input and output. And it describes the rate at which resources are transformed into products. The exact definition we can define as production function as technical and mathematical relationship describing the manner and extent to which a particular product depends on the quantities of inputs or input services used at given level of technology in given period of time. ये mathematical relationship है जो एक product कैसे क्वांटिटीज ऑफ इनपुट्स एंड सर्विसेज पे डिपेंड करता है. ये एक्सप्लेन मैथमेटिकल रिलेशनशिप में हम जब एक्सप्लेन करते हैं तो उसे हम प्रोडक्शन फंक्शन कहते हैं. So there are certain assumptions followed in the production function analysis. First assumption is production function is defined for non-negative values of inputs and outputs. जो भी हम y and x consider करें, y is output, x is input, ये non-negative values है, ये negative नहीं सकते because it is meaningless. Inputs cannot be negative. We can't say that we have used -1 kg of seeds or -2 kg of fertilizer. So this is pointless. So negative values, we just define production function for positive values. Now production function presupposes the technical efficiency. Means जो भी हम combination use कर रहे हैं inputs का, it results in maximum level of output. ये पहले से ही assume किया जाता है. Then third assumption is input output relationship is single valued and continuous. उस इनपुट आउटपुट रिलेशनशिप का सिंगल वैल्यू होता है और वो कंटिन्यूअस नेचर में रहेगा. Then production function is characterized by decreasing marginal product for all factor product combinations. जो भी factor product that is input output combination है उसमें decreasing marginal product मिलेगा. Then decreasing rate of technical substitution between two factors, जो two inputs है उसमें decreasing rate of substitution पाया जाएगा. और transformation between any two products, there is increasing rate of product transformation between any two products. These are the characteristics of production function. It is the assumption. Then fifth assumption is the return to scale is assumed to be decreasing. And all factors of production and products are perfectly divisible. The parameters determining the firm's production function do not change over time. That is, they remain constant for a given period of time. And these parameters are not allowed to be random variables. Eighth assumption is exact nature of production function is assumed to be determined by the सेट ऑफ टेक्निकल डिसीजंस टेकन बाय द प्रोड्यूसर। एग्जैक्ट नेचर जो है वो प्रोड्यूसर्स के जो डिसीजंस है उस पे आधारित होता है। There are different types of production function. First one is the linear production function, also known as first degree polynomial. It is the algebraic form. We can say y is equal to a naught plus bx. A naught here is the intercept, b is the slope of the line, and x is the input, y is the output. This is not commonly used in research because it violates the basic assumptions of assumption of production function. Second is the quadratic production function. It is also known as second degree polynomial. Here, production function allows both declining and negative marginal productivity, thus embracing second and third stage of production. ये stages of production हम आगे में देखेंगे। जो भी ये याद रखें कि quadratic production function जो है वो declining and negative marginal productivity को express करता है। So equation for quadratic function is y is equal to b naught plus b1 x1 plus b2 x1 square. ये जो b naught b1 b2 है वो हम पैरामीटर्स है। x1 is our input and y is the output. Next we have the Cobb-Douglas production function. It is also known as power production function. It is widely used and it accounts for only one stage of production at a time. It cannot represent all the three stages in simultaneously, but it represents one stage at one time. It is given by y is equal to b naught x1 raised to b1. यहाँ b1 b naught ये parameters है. So b1 is elasticity of production, b naught is the efficiency parameter, x1 is the input, and y is the output. Other type of production functions we have Mesterlitz or Spillman function, transcendental function, Franzlov production function, constant elasticity of substitution, that is CES production function, resistance function, and then square root production function. जो square root production function है वो Cobb-Douglas और quadratic production function का together represent करता है. It is given by y is equal to a naught plus a1 square root of x plus a2 x. So it is combination of Cobb-Douglas and quadratic function. So this function gets rid of limitation of filled mix of inputs for producing different level of output inherent in Cobb-Douglas production function and that of linear isoclines in quadratic function. जो भी drawbacks है quadratic और Cobb-Douglas के वो square root production function में eliminate होते हैं. So this is widely used in research. Next, production function can be expressed in three ways. First is tabular form. Tabular form में जहाँ पे हम inputs और output ऐसे दो column बन के given input what is the output. Likewise, we can express the production function. Graphical form में x axis पे input लेके y axis पे output लेके तो for a given input what is the output we can plot it and we can join the points and this will form our total production curve or TPP curve. Next we have the algebraic form. In algebraic form we express the production function as y is function of x. X is the here independent variable, y is the dependent variable. When more number of inputs are involved, we give it as y is function of x1, x2, x3 up to xn. When single variable is single input is variable and other are constant, so we differentiate between fixed and variable resources by bar. So left hand side we have the variable resources, right hand side we have the fixed resources. When we have more than two variable resources, we will get two variables on the left hand side of bar and other variables on the right hand side of the vertical bar. So next we have laws of return, that is increasing, constant and decreasing returns. Now in a production process, one or other combination of these relationships can be observed. Either we can see constant marginal returns or we can say constant productivity, increasing productivity or decreasing productivity. So we'll see this one by one. First, law of constant marginal returns or productivity. It is said to operate when each marginal unit of variable input adds equal quantity of output टू द टोटल आउटपुट। जितने यूनिट से हम, अगर हम एक यूनिट से इनपुट बढ़ा रहे हैं तो उससे हमें 10 यूनिट्स टोटल प्रोडक्ट में इंक्रीज हो रहा है, तो जब सेकेंड यूनिट हम बढ़ाएंगे फिर से हमें उतना ही इंक्रीज मिलेगा टोटल आउटपुट में, तब हम क्या कह सकते हैं, इट इज लॉ ऑफ कांस्टेंट मार्जिनल रिटर्न। नाउ इट इज एप्लीकेबल ओवर लिमिटेड रेंज, लिमिटेड रेंज में ही एप्लीकेबल होता है ये। फॉर एग्जांपल, one tractor will almost give same output as the other, now हमने दो ट्रैक्टर्स यूज किए प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस में, तो वो एक ट्रैक्टर से जितना आउटपुट मिला है वही सेम आउटपुट दूसरे ट्रैक्टर से भी मिलेगा, so when other things are remaining constant. So you can see here in the tabular form, we can take the example of fertilizer. When we apply no fertilizer, we are getting total product or total output is 1300 kg. If we apply 10 kgs of fertilizer, we are getting 1350 kgs of output. Now if we increase the fertilizer by 10 units, that is we give the 20 units of fertilizer, our total product is increasing by 50. So here difference is 50. Initial also difference was 50. When we added 10 units, the difference is 50. Again, when we add another 10 units, this difference is 10 over here. So again, by 50, the production is increased. The difference between the initial production and final production is 50. So if we take the marginal product is delta y, that is change in output divided by change in input. Or change in output here in first condition is 50, and change in input is nothing but 10. So our marginal product will be 5. So marginal product throughout the process, it is equal to 5. So this is the constant marginal returns. We can symbolically explain, write it as delta y1 divided by delta x1, that is first marginal product is equal to second marginal product delta y2 divided by delta x2. Likewise, it is equal to delta y and nth unit of input to nth unit of output to nth unit of input. So this is the law of constant marginal returns. Now next is the law of increasing marginal returns. It is said to operate when each marginal unit of variable inputs, when we add variable inputs, more and more quantity of output is generated. So it is not common in agriculture. Example, small increase in seed inputs gives in a given fixed inputs will increase the total products. So जितना हम सीड रेट बढ़ाएंगे उतना टोटल प्रोडक्ट हमारा इंक्रीज होता जाएगा, लेकिन ये भी लिमिटेड रेंज में होता है. दिस इज नॉट मच कॉमन इन एग्रीकल्चर. 1 एकड़ में हमने जब सीड रेट इज ओनली 2 kg पर एकड़ और हमने वहां 4 kg डाला बाय एम दैट विल गेट डबल प्रोडक्शन, इट वोंट वर्क लाइक दैट. So this is found in limited cases and it is not very common in agriculture. So for example, let us take, we have seed, first we are sowing 10 kg of seeds, we'll get total product is 1000. Now when we increase the seed rate by 5, that is 50, we use 15 kg, the total product is 1025. Here difference is now 25 and difference between the input is 5. Again we are increasing the input by 5, output has increased by 50 units. When we again increase by 5, output has increased by, we can say 75 units. So likewise the in total product is going on increasing, and marginal product for first unit never marginal product we can calculate. For second unit it will be 25 divided by 5, which is equal to 3. Then next 50 divided by 5 equal to 10. Then 75 divided by 5. So you can see marginal product has went on increasing as the input is increasing. So this is the law of increasing marginal returns or law of increasing productivity. And we can express it in the formula or MP1, that is marginal product 1, delta y1 divided by delta x1. This is smaller than the delta y2 divided by delta x1. So we get often confused. Name here is increasing marginal returns, but sign here which we use it is less than. Less than because जो भी highest marginal product है वो highest होगा और जो पहले का initial होगा वो छोटा होगा. इसलिए यहाँ when we say about law of increasing marginal returns, sign which we use is lesser. First marginal product is lesser than the marginal product, second marginal product. Likewise, it is less. Marginal product for n is it means that marginal product for the uh, nth input it is greatest than the marginal product of first input. So here less than sign. So don't usually in exam we get confused because of this less than sign. Less than sign, if then means we go for conclusion that it is decreasing marginal returns, but it is not like that. It is when less than sign is there, it is increasing marginal returns, and when we have greater than sign, it is decreasing marginal returns. So you can see here, law of decreasing return says that when we go on adding the input, the marginal product or the total product increases, but at the increase in the total product is decreasing. So you can see here, this is most applicable, widely applicable in agriculture. This condition is very much applicable. For example, you can see now fertilizers, first we were applying 0, our total product was 500. When we increased by 10, our production has increased by, we can say 900 units. Now next again if we increase in 10, we have here difference is 700. Production is increasing, but change in the production it is decreasing. So when again we increase by 10 units, here it is increasing by just 500 units. So our marginal product will be 900 divided by 10, which is equal to 90. Then 700 divided by 10, it is equal to 70. So marginal product for first unit is highest as compared to the last unit. So our relation mathematically we express decreasing margin law of decreasing marginal returns as delta y1 divided by delta x1. It is greater than delta y2 divided by delta x2, so on up to it is greater than delta yn divided by delta xn. It is MP for marginal product for first unit, it is greater than the marginal unit of second product, and so on to marginal product of nth unit. So here you have seen for decreasing marginal returns we use the greater than sign, and for increasing marginal returns we use less than sign. So this is very confusing when we go for the mathematical representation of the law. So we have to remember when algebraically explain, when marginal products it is going on less symbol, then it is increasing marginal returns, and when greater than symbol is used, it is law of decreasing marginal.